And I'm going to be talking today with Nicholas Johnson, who is 20 years in Hebrew Israelism, specifically the original school, which you may know as the ICGJC. Very excited about today's program. Welcome to Street Apologist Live, Nicholas Johnson. That's right. Come on in.
Thanks for having me.
How'd you get in?
I got in through being curious, following after other people that I looked up to. They had got introduced to this, and they started introducing it to people in my community. So it sounded good at the time, and it sounded right. And so that's how I got in. It was a family that lived on my block, on my street, and one of their relatives had learned this from up in New York and brought it down to Philadelphia. And so, they started talking about it on my neighborhood street, and then they introduced it to one of my family members, and then, they introduced it to me, and it sounded right, because it was something I never heard before. I never heard about Jews being black. I never, of course I heard about slavery, but I never heard about it in the Bible. So I was able to connect that. If I see the Jews, the Bible say the Jews is going to go into slavery by ships, the way they put it, and then you see black people come into slavery by ships, it's going to intrigue you more. So
How old were you then, Nicholas?
I was about I was probably 20. I want to say 20, or no, I was when I first heard about it. I was in high school, so I was like 18 when I first heard about it. But I officially came in. I was like 20 years old.
Was that 1999?
I came in officially 1999, October of 1999.
When you came in, were they saying that Yahushua was going to come back in 2000?
No, by that time they didn't already cleaned it up. They were saying it like when I heard it like in the beginning, like in 1997, but by 1999 they were saying that it wasn't going to happen. That was a prophecy to get the so-called Antichrist, or the ones that wasn't going to believe. They didn't want to be a part of that, so they wasn't going to partake in the Holy Spirit that was coming, which we know came later as Tithing.
So wait, already in 99, before 2000, they were saying that the year 2000 prophecy was designed to get rid of false converts, basically out of the school.
To get the ones that wasn't supposed to receive the Holy Spirit, that wasn't going to believe. It was to get them out of here. And they was using scriptures like, if that prophet is deceived, it's the Lord that deceived him, and things like that. So by 1999, we already knew, at least in the church I was in, we already knew that it wasn't going to happen.
So in Philadelphia, that's what they were saying. In Philadelphia, were you mainly at the Philly school at this time?
I was in three churches, but during that, I was in Philadelphia church from 1999 up until 2004. Then I went to Indiana, and then I came back from Indiana. I was in what they call World Headquarters in 2008, and then I went back to the Philly church till 2013. Then I went to the Pittsburgh church, and that's where I ended my time in Pittsburgh.
So how much time did you spend in Harlem?
Just the 1 year, 08 to 09.
Why'd they bring you up? Why'd they bring you up there?
I had actually moved up there, so I moved up there, and they granted my transfer, and so.
So you had to put in a transfer, and then they allowed you to move.
Oh yeah, you got to put in a transfer to go to any church if you want to be a part of it. You can't just pick up and move. You got to
Why'd you
transfer.
Why'd you want to go to Harlem?
I had went up there with my ex-wife.
Oh, was that where she was, you're saying?
Yeah, she's from New York, so that's where she was living at the time. So I moved up there with her. So I was in headquarters from '08 to '09.
Was Jermaine Grant frequently there during that time?
Yes, during that time he was there a lot. Um, he was teaching a lot too. Friday night classes. I think not like much during the summertime. I think he had kicked off that world tour around that time, but he called it a world tour, but he never left the States.
All right. I'm going to work on bringing up a picture here in a second. I got a couple pictures that are from your time in the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ, the ICGJC. While I'm doing that, can you tell people a little bit about how you got out? Let's hear that part of the story.
Okay, how I got out. I was like, once Jermaine Grant had got arrested and they was like hiding stuff from us, that like had me feeling some type of way. So I was already looking at it like maybe this thing ain't right. They was just being real secretive with stuff that they wasn't before. And then like the thing that was my final straw, because we see how the messages was shifting. The prophecies that he was speaking about wasn't coming to pass. And then the thing that really got to me is when one of my best friends in that cult, when he had got shot, he got shot, he was paralyzed, and Jermaine Grant went up and visited him in the hospital, and he told him that this was for the glory of God. He's going to walk again, and he's going to be, a sign and all this other stuff. And, he called me up, and we was talking for a long time, and he was so excited about it and everything, and basically thinking that he was going to be able to walk and recover from this, and he was going to be used by God, just for him to pass away right after that. So that really touched me, because I'm like, you gave this brother so much hope, like you've been giving us for so long, and you just lied. So that was my final straw right there. I knew it was time for me to go, and so I started making my exit at that time.
Can you tell me about the process of leaving?
The process of leaving, I decided, like, when I was going to leave, I just stopped being like as involved as I was. Like, I remember the last Passover I was at, I didn't even partake in it. I didn't drink the wine. I didn't eat the bread or none of that, because I was like, in my mind, honestly, I thought that this guy might try to pull a Jim Jones on us. So I didn't touch nothing that year. And then when it came up to the time for me to leave, it was like a Sabbath. They call it a Sabbath Friday night. So I was like, I'm just not going to go. They got a teacher there. He's going to teach, and I'm just going to, disappear. But what happened was he got called up to New York to go be part of their service up there in New York. So I had to go and teach the Sabbath service. So I was like, I'm gonna go and teach the Sabbath service, because I know this is what these people, they look forward to. This, some of them, this is all they got. They only come here on Saturday. So I went there on Saturday. I taught the whole service, and then after the service, I had like all these newspaper clippings. I had like the court documents for Jermaine Grant. I had all this information. I took off my garment, laid it on top of the podium, put all the information on top of there. I told him, I said, this is it for me. I'm leaving. This is why I'm leaving. It's here for y'all. If y'all want to look at it, if y'all want to look through it, go ahead. If not, that's up to y'all. And I left from there. That was it. I got a call from my brother. He said, "You sure this is what you want to do?" I said, "Yeah." That was it.
Whoa, that's pretty pretty intense stuff, I would say. Pretty intense stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the wrong screen. That's for tomorrow's show. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so since then, what's the journey been like?
The journey at my first year, not even my first year, just like the first couple months when I came out, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I was like, do I still believe the Israelite teachings and just don't believe how Jermaine Grant did it? So I started connecting and reaching out with guys that I was, friends with and family with inside the cult and that had been put out. And I reached out to them and I, start talking to some of them. And then it just clicked that like this wasn't a religious thing. So, this was more of a cult that we was in. So I just dropped the whole Hebrew Israelite mentality and all their teachings. I got away from it and just started reading my Bible, removing all the Israelite aspects out of it. Just start reading my Bible, and that's what brought me to Christ. So I believe I found the true Christ now. I'm a Christian.
That's beautiful, brother, because as you've probably seen, a lot of people get out of this and they lose their faith. Like my friend, Dominican cat, San Miguel, he left the ICGJC, and we're still friends, but, he's an atheist.
Right. Yeah. And I just, it was a lot because it's not, like you said, it's not that many Christians that follow Hebrew Israelites. Because we're taught in there that Christianity is the white man's religion and all this other stuff. So it ain't too many people that you can follow after or connect with. So I had to do it on my own as far as my Christian path. But I do still study and speak to a lot of Hebrew Israelites that also have found Christianity too.
That's beautiful. Well, I'm glad you're here today to give people hope and encouragement.
Yes, and definitely.
A couple of comments that you might find interesting. Reno, who I believe you know.
Yes, I know.
He says specifically, so I think my guess is he knows the gentleman that you were talking about, because I'm trying to find the comment, bro. Just give me 1 second. He said, R.I.P. Saint Hood.
Yeah. That's Saint Hood. That was his rap name. His Hebrew name was Lashawan Lahab, and his real name was Jarrell.
Okay.
So.
Sounds like he was a good brother.
Yeah, he was a great brother. He's one of my closest friends. Dope MC. He was a rapper. And that's, outside of this cult and before you come into it, you have all these talents and a whole nother life, and this stuff just sucks it all away from you. And then you look up 15, 20 years later and you like, damn, I could have done this, I could have done that. This time gone, I wasted my talent in this place, doing shows for them, writing and whatever, it's just sad sometimes.
Well, glad you're here now to help other people. Aquila says, that's heartbreaking. The spiritual and emotional abuse of people by false prophets across the board grieves my heart. I imagine you feel the same way, and that's probably why you're doing these interviews. Yep,
because, that right there, just to see somebody, with this much talent, and it's just not him, it's other people in there. You look at them, and they, they've been like before they come in this church, writing screenplays, writing movie plays, being producers, and then you look up and it's like they can't even answer for themselves. It's like everything is just sucked out of them. So I hate to see it. So this is why I really do it, to get them back and help people get out of there.
David Collins heard your story of how you left and said, "What an exit, bold." I think it's wild that on your last time you're over there teaching the class.
Yeah, I went through the whole thing too. I was like, and the whole time I'm teaching that, I know in my mind, I'm like, this is going to be it for me. Um, and I didn't speed through it. I did it like it was a regular Sabbath service, and then I had to make my action in this. And it's funny that the way I did it helped somebody else get out. So I was happy about that.
Really, praise God. Noel
Yeah.
Sanchez says, Nick is definitely a Bible champ, very well versed in the true Christ now. That's another former ICGJC gentleman, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of my closest friends. Yes.
Shout out to you, Noel. Ted East asks, is this a replay? No, it is live. Okay. Now, I said we were going to get into some pictures. I believe I got this set up. Let's switch over, and you're going to explain to us what some of these pictures are here. And let me see if this is if it's gonna cooperate. All right, just a second here. All right, let's see if this is gonna cooperate. Is it gonna cooperate? Okay. There we go. Praise God.
That's
Okay.
Lashawan.
Oh, that's Saint Hood.
Yes.
His name means holy what?
His name is Holy Tongue Lahab, or I think that's what Lahab means. Lashawan Lahab.
Okay, or because Lashawan. Oh wait, no, tongue. Oh wait, hold on.
It's fiery tongue. That's
Lashawan is tongue, not holy. My bad. I messed you up on that. I'm sorry. So Lashawan Lahab is like fire of the tongue. You said.
Yeah. Something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was good rapper.
Right.
So that's why. Yeah.
And
That was us in this is we have blue garments, so I think this is 04 Passover.
how's the blue garment tell you that?
Because the first year that we got these uniform garments, they were blue. And then they switched them over to the red, and then we stayed with the red and white. So the first year it was blue and white.
Okay.
And then they went to the red and white. Stayed there.
Okay. All right. The pendant, is that a ICGJC thing, or is that just your own thing?
Yeah, that was just a shield or Star of David.
Okay.
Pendant.
Now this.
That's my NIS. So I was part of security. So that was our uniforms.
Oh, what's NIS stand for?
I think it's standing for National Israelite Security.
Oh, okay.
Either Nation of Israel Security or National Israelite Security. I can't remember.
I think I dealt with like one of the former or current head of securities when I showed up at did you see that video?
Yeah.
He was like he was like the head of security at one time, wasn't he? Or he still was, the guy I dealt with?
Oh, he still is? Yeah, he's an apostle. Well, when I left, he was an apostle.
Okay.
Over security. He was head of security.
What was that gentleman's name? Do you remember the guy?
Karatazag.
Yep.
Karatazag Barba or Barga, something.
There you go. Yeah, Ace Sharp is in the building. He says security, so I think Ace Sharp knows what's going on too.
Yeah, this is slavery right here. That's why.
Slavery?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because you're doing something for free that has no benefit for you. We used to do shifts just guarding or watching abandoned building. Sit outside in the cold, no matter the weather. It was raining. It was -2 degrees. You're sitting out in the car just looking at an abandoned building.
What you would really do? You would really do security on an abandoned building?
Yes. We would sit 33rd and Dolphin, sit in the car, and just sit there and make sure nobody goes into this abandoned building.
Why were you watching an abandoned building? I'm sorry, I don't. Was it just a like be like, hey, you're gonna do this because we tell you to do it type of thing, or what?
It was the ex church. Um, it used to be, what's the name of that? ISUPK. So it was the ISUPK church when I was there originally. Then once the ICGJC took over, they had like a little ownership thing going on between Johanna and Hard over the building.
Oh, so wait, there was a
So
concern that Johanna's group might try to jump in that building.
yeah, so we watched that building for, I want to say, if anybody here remember, well, it was like 3 or 5 years.
Okay,
Watched
well,
that building every
I
day.
mean, I guess that actually does. I mean, somewhat makes sense. That's interesting though, because of the turf wars, they were worried Johanna was going to jump in there.
But he didn't already, got told he can't have the buildings. We was there way after the deal took place, and then the only reason why we left there is because they had got another building called the Shield Building, and so we had to start going there.
Okay, actually, that's just what someone in the live chat, Noel, just said. It was the Shield Building y'all used to watch.
Yep. So we went from 33rd Street to the Shield Building, and you just babysit a building. That's all you do.
Noel says 25-hour shifts.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't have a job, they was putting you. They was going to put you on one of these shifts. Even if you had a job, it's like, okay, whatever free time you got, you gotta go here. So you got an 8-hour job. You're going to do 12 hours surveillance. I think the shift was 6 to 6.
My goodness. Okay, how about this picture, Nicholas? Who is this?
That's me, Lashawan Lahab, and Kuala Maf. He's from Boys to Men. Wanye Morris.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you got a picture with him?
Yeah. Well, yeah. All three of us took the picture together.
Go ahead.
He was in the Hebrew. They was in the Hebrew Academy. I was already in ranking. I was already in a rank spot then. They wasn't.
So you were over Boys to Men. They were boys and you were the men.
For a little while, yeah. I was.
He
was in the academy.
Is this picture at the Hebrew Academy or is this at a Passover?
That's at the Passover, yeah.
Did he sing that year?
No.
So he would be there sometimes just in attendance, not even to sing.
Oh yeah, he did a whole year there. He dedicated, a whole to graduate the Hebrew Academy. So he definitely dedicated a whole year out of his life to just doing this. Now after he graduated, his time started lessening, but that year he was in the academy. Yeah, he was there every Sunday.
So you made it to a one shield general. Did he also make it to being a general?
I think he was, or a captain, but I think, and then he got raised up to like some special rank, like ambassador to the kingdom of the heaven or something like that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to laugh. But Andres Garcia Jr. says, I used to belong to this group in 2009. At the time, I was dating Sam's stepdaughter. Nicholas might know Sam. Might need some more information. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I was thinking maybe that's in New York.
Not sure. Okay. Wow, a lot of people will come out. I think people really want to hear what you have to say, my friend. Okay. Are you getting anointed here or what, Nicholas? What's happening?
This was I was reading for Tithing on one of his DVDs. I was his reader when he used to go to local churches. He'll have readers at the church. So this particular time, he had set down like three brothers. For reading from him. He didn't like how he was reading. And so he said, let me get a reader. And I stood up and So that's what happened.
Oh, but he didn't sit you down?
No. I finished it. It was like, it's funny. I lost my job because of this day.
Wait, hold on. What do you mean?
I was supposed to be to work at 3. So once I started reading for him, I knew I wasn't getting out of there. So
Oh, so he kept on going, and you were supposed to be at
yeah.
work, and you didn't make it.
Nope. So I couldn't step down, let me call off or something like that, So
did he know? Did he know your name?
Oh yeah, he knew my name.
Was he
knew me? Yeah.
Was he kind to you?
Not really. No. I'm not gonna say that. Not at once. Later on, he stopped being kinder. When I first met him, he was kinder to me, but as time progressed, I would say no. Like once after I got busted, he didn't really like me too much.
Now help me understand this right. You got busted because there was a raffle for a $10,000 car, and they were pressuring you to be in this raffle. But to be in the raffle cost $500, and you didn't have $500. But they kept on pressuring you to be in this raffle, so you said you'd do it. But then when the time came, just like you already knew, you didn't have the $500 for this $10,000 car raffle. And since you didn't have the $500, they busted you down in rank because you didn't have that $500. So you basically lost rank for not giving Tazadaki $500.
Yep. Well, I got suspended for rank. I got suspended for not paying, and so I paid it. So in my counsel, I was told once you pay your $500 raffle, you get your rank back. So I paid my $500 like the next week. And so, I asked the person that was over me in Philly, I'm like, so do I got my rank, or is it something else I need to do? He said, yeah, I'm gonna call and find out. So he calls and finds out, and he like, you got to go to council to get your rank back. So I'm like, okay. So then he calls me up later. He like, when you gonna come down to sign these council papers? I'm like, I gotta sign papers. Usually you do that when you call it, you want to request to see a council. If you getting summons, then you just gotta go. So I'm like, you sure I gotta fill out council papers? He's like, yeah, this is what they told me to do. So right before I go up there, it's funny. Everybody knew it was wrong. Right before I go up there, one of the brothers, he like, look, if you go up there, just tell them I told you to do this. You're not throwing me under the bus. I'm like, okay. So I go up there, and I knew it was a bad thing because I was last to get seen. So I was like, oh, this ain't gonna go well. And then, one of the brothers went in there with me. So I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna go right. So I tried to explain my case. They like, you up here asking for your rank back? I'm like, no, such and such told me this. He's like, well, such and such just got you busted. I was like, damn. So that's what happened. They said I was being dishonorable for asking for my rank back. But I never asked for my rank back. I was told that was the procedure.
Right. Ah, man, this is a whole mess. Tashana says, and to think I used to love him. Tashana's maybe somebody you know? I don't know if you can see the picture. Maybe tell us a little bit more about your story, Tashana. And then Andres Garcia says, no, it was in the Bronx, the one on 125th Street.
Okay.
So wait, they had a school in the Bronx on 125th? I knew about Harlem 125th.
Yeah, that's Harlem, yeah. But we never went to they did, you said, do something in the Bronx. It was like each borough was supposed to have, this is all the lies we was told, but each borough was supposed to have like their own little church, and then world headquarters was going to stay 1941. But I don't think that ever kicked off, but I do think they did do some classes or something there.
D. Pratt says that picture got caught I think he means cult energy. That picture got cult energy.
Yeah, you see how I'm smiling. I was so happy that day.
Well, because he chose you as a reader, right?
Yes, and he was touching me. So
I understand. Yeah, that's well, I'm glad you're on the other side. Tashana calls that the Christmas tree outfit.
They used to love this guy garments. He's sparkly, and you couldn't get garments like him. You couldn't wear rhinestones, none of that.
Wait. You're not allowed to wear similar, because basically you'd be like competing with him. Is that the idea?
Yeah, or you can't. You'd be trying to emulate him.
So you can't wear rhinestones because Tazadaki wears rhinestones.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So a couple people want to know who won the car.
The car was won by this older gentleman. He was like I think he got up to a bishop. He was in New York, and the $10,000 was won by somebody in Pittsburgh.
Wait. Oh, it's $10,000 and a car?
The first prize was the car, and then the second prize was $10K.
Okay, I get it. I misunderstood. I thought it was $10,000 car. So it's $10,000 is first prize. The car is second prize, or is it the other way around?
The car was first.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
It's like a Volkswagen Passat.
Okay. A Sharp says, yeah, Comfy was sometimes unpredictable in council. Could go either way depending on his mood. Who else was in council? Was RAA there?
Yeah, So the night that I got suspended, it's funny, the night I got suspended, this guy falls asleep mid-sentence on me.
Wait. Hold on. What do you mean?
Tazadaki, he's talking to me, about why they're paying this and that, and he just went out, and then he wakes up like 30 seconds later, and he's like, "See what you doing to me, brother?" I was like, "Oh shit!"
So you're in council, and Tazadaki falls asleep in mid-sentence.
And then he got up like 30 seconds later, and like with a little grin on his face, and he was like, "See what you doing to me, brother?" I was like,
oh wow, man! I guess you were boring, huh?
I was making him sleepy.
Hey,
so
Aria's there, Tazadaki's there. Was Shar there?
Aria, Shar, Tazadakia,
Kazak.
Who else? Kazak was in there, and there was somebody.
So you had three.
Tazapawan was in there.
Hold on, is that the guy? Church. Hold on, Tazapawan. Is he the guy who was in the BBC documentary?
Yeah, him. He's the one that got locked up with Tazadaki. He's the one that got the year in the
Lincoln Warrington.
Lincoln. Yeah, Tazapawan.
Okay.
He was in there, and it was somebody from the finances department.
So you
was there.
So you had 3 of the 7 heads, because Tazapawan wasn't ever one of the 7 heads, right? But the other 3, Shar, Kazak, and Arya, 3 of the 7 heads.
Oh no,
right?
Not that Kazak. I thought you was talking about Kazak and Mathanya.
My bad.
St. Ivan. Yeah.
Oh, he was there.
Yeah, but not Kazak, the old one of the 4 heads.
Did you ever know him, Kazak?
Yeah,
the older one.
I didn't know him, but I met him one time. I met him and I seen him at like Passover and stuff. But he was never talked to him or anything.
Man. Wow. I got to ask you some more questions about more stories. Now, what is this picture?
This me lying to people, but this me doing unit work in Pittsburgh. And so you can look in their face, you can tell they like, what the hell is this guy talking about? But
okay, so with this, is it only ICGJC that uses the slang unit work? Because everyone else says holding camp.
We used to say, well, it was a difference. So holding camp
is
like street speaking.
Okay.
Uniwork is more like a Bible mission, like where you go out with flyers and
Okay.
stuff like that, flyers, and you just teach off the flyer or you teach out the Bible. It's no camp or street speaking involved.
Okay, understood. Are you by yourself?
At this time, no. I was the highest.
Okay.
I was at the highest rank, but them I ain't gonna say that, but some people didn't like Uniwork, so they stayed away.
So the idea is you have the covering on the top. Is that so your head's not covered?
Right. So I got you got the hole on top of your crown. So that's how that works. But these ladies, their hair, they just got their hair covered. They're not a part of the church.
Right. Andres Garcia Jr. says, yeah, Vocab, the doors are still open. It's literally between 124 and 125 in Madison Avenue.
Yeah, that's in Harlem. That's not the Bronx.
Yeah, because he's talking about Madison Avenue. I was there. I went to 1941. Yeah. That's when it was raining. And the security guy, he said, why are you here trying to cause a riot? That's what he said to me. He said, I was trying to cause a riot.
Guys.
Avi said he likes your comment when you said that's you lying to people.
That's what I was doing.
Yellow 89 says, read on. Okay. Let's see. We got that picture. Now, what's going on here? And tell me about this flag on your garment. Or whatever that.
Yeah, that's, again, something that never went nowhere.
What do you mean?
That's the nation of Israel. That's the national flag.
Oh, that's the flag. So is this specific to ICGJC? Who came up with this? Do you know?
I don't know who made it, but it was introduced by Tithing. I don't know who came up with the design.
Okay, so this is the Nation of Israel flag. What do you know? What the symbolism entails?
It's the 12 pillars. So you got 12 pillars in it. I forget what the purple stands for.
And there's a star.
Yeah, the Star of David with some, I think some little circles going around it. This was at the second Passover. Again, another cash and grab by Tithing.
Why you say that? What do you mean by that? Why are you saying
making up the second Passover?
What do you mean?
So you had to pay for it. So you had to pay, your Passover tithe. And
did you send me that picture of that?
What?
A Passover thing? Let me see if I got it.
This is at the Passover.
No. I mean, you sent me. I was trying to see if you had sent me. No, I don't think you did. I was trying to see.
That passport. Go back to that one. That passport.
Oh, here's this. What about this? What about this? What about this?
Oh, that's I was with the finances, and so this was just like you see right here. I wanted to point out. So this is the Pittsburgh business, meaning this is what money came in this particular day. So I would have to count out the money, and then once I get what it is, I would have to text it to the apostle or chief priest. So you see 180 Pentecost. That means that's how much people paid to go to Pentecost for that feast. You see where it says $50 fine.
Yeah.
Tithing used to charge people for their sins. So you commit a sin.
Brother, hold on, brother. This is what the Roman Catholic Church did.
Well, that's that Israelite Church of God Jesus Christ is the Catholic Hebrew Israelites. They the most Catholic, closest to the Catholic Church out of all Hebrew Israelites that I know of.
If you had to guess, what kind of sin do you think someone committed that cost $50?
Well, it's like you get points. So each point was say I get 500 points. I think it's like $5 per point or something like. I don't know. Yeah, it's like so this was like it was $50 came in. His points was like 500 points. So he did something to get 500 points. So he has to pay a $50 fine.
So what do you think he did for 500 points? What kind of sin would that be? You don't know who the
man,
person is, so you're not throwing anyone under the bus. I'm just, if you remember the scale, is what I was trying to get. If you have any idea the kind of scale, like, is this lying? Is this showing up late to class? Is this beating one of your wives? Huh?
It depends on the mood of the document that day. This could have been something as your garments, your fringes are dirty. So
St. Ivan says he thinks it is late to the Sabbath. He thinks that's what that is.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, it could be anything. Depends on the mood, but
yeah, he's saying it's late to the Sabbath.
Okay, then that's what it is. Yeah.
And he says, "Peace, salute, Nick. Good to see you. Do your thing, salute. Don't forget to talk about repeating the academy and how they get you with that too."
Yeah, the money. So they keep busting you because they have you keep paying and paying and paying. So you got to buy, every time you get busted, you got to buy a new garment. So that's more money.
Wait. If you get, because you have a different rank, so you have to get a different garment?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Noel Sanchez says busted is 144,000 points.
Yeah, so if I get busted 144,000 points, then you take, I think it's like $10 per 100 or something like that. I'd owe like 1,000, 1,400, something like that.
Oh, for your new rank?
For my fine.
Oh.
So the points add over to dollars. So
right.
So that's what that $50 fine is.
So when you get busted, you also lose money basically too.
Yeah. It all goes. You're in a point system. So once you get to 144,000 points, you get busted no matter what you did. So they keep track of how many points you. I remember one time we was in a major conference and Tazadaki gave somebody a lot of points, like 12,000 or something like that. And he was like, it checked the records to make sure, he's not at 144,000. I think he gave him like 100,000 or something on the spot. So
he busted him on the spot.
He didn't bust. I think, did he tell him to take off? I think he told, no, he didn't bust him because he was an apostle. He might have told him to take off his garment. I can't remember, but it was his apostle, The Rock. He did something, and he got all these points.
A Sharp says men were getting fined for being late. I was taken to counsel as a sister. Oh, this is a sister. Oh, I guess they weren't as hard on the women as what she's indicating.
Oh no, they was getting tracked too. So we was keeping records of their time too.
And Ivan's talking about $14,000.
Yeah, 14,000. So 144,000 points will be $14,000 that you owe the church.
Who's gonna have $14,000 on hand if they're a regular middle class person?
Man, they got you for your tax when your tax time come around. Don't forget your fine. They call it your national debt. So I think I sent you a sheet with like the is that it?
Is this it?
So that got the breakdown on there of all the.
Okay, so it's a little blurry to read. Can you tell me what some of this says? Because I see the word young adult. I see the word I see some names, but it's a little hard to read. Could you break this down for me?
Okay. So this would be like your rank. This would be the person's name, then their rank, and then those boxes going over would be like what they're paying. So you'll see like tithe, Passover tithe, high holy day, garment, ID, and then you had miscellaneous for like AAAs or something. So this was just the category.
Wait, it says National Treasury Department?
Yes.
Holy ACHP REA and Holy ACHP Shar and Holy ACHP Tazadakia.
Holy Apostle and Chief High Priest. That was their full title.
So they were he was still kind of keeping them as the other top two guys at that time.
Right.
But it was really kind of about him, it seems like.
Oh yeah, he was always the top guy.
What?
Like I remember what was it, a holy rank review. Everybody got, even them, and remember they're holy apostles, but they still had to stay on stage for their holy rank review. But he was the only one that didn't have to do one.
Wait, hold on. You're saying on the stage, Tazadakia would do a holy rank review of the other two?
Oh, yeah. Yes, for everybody in rank. And it was like, they're holy, so they can't be busted, but they still had to do it. He was the only one that didn't do it. And I think he was like, I'm here, so I passed mine or something like that.
That's what he would say?
Yeah, they had to. Everybody stay on the stage, even the holy apostles.
What did you ever see him give a rank review to Arya?
Well, you don't see him. No, you don't see him give a rank review. Like once he start giving out the ranks, you mean?
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just.
Oh no, so the holy rank review. Yeah, everybody had to. It's like 1 year. So it started switching up. Like 1 year we had to do a test. Like that we sat down inside there, and it was like an all-day thing. We did tests and test out knowledge of scriptures and all that, and then we come back for the results and to see where we at. Then later on, he started like just teaching classes, and then at the end of the night, he'll start giving people rank or taking away rank. So,
oh my goodness,
nothing was never the same. Like how it started, it never ended that way.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning, say something like the Holy Rank Review. Say it starts off as a thing where we come up there and we take tests, and they testing us to see how much we know. They testing us on the Hebrew. They testing us on our prayers and all of that. And by them tests, that's where they say, okay, is you going to move on in rank? You're going to stay in rank? You're going to be demoted. But then, as time go along, those tests is no more taken, and now it's just like stand up here, and I'm gonna evaluate you right here on the spot.
Jeez. Shout out to Andres Garcia. I'll get to your super chat question, and thank you for the first super chat of the show, by the way. Thank you very much, Andres. Okay, so this is similar here with this National Treasury Department, and this is all from the Pittsburgh division, right?
Yeah. That's a spiritual, another money grab type that you did.
The spiritual report, is that similar to a rank review or different than a rank review?
It was different. It was held during the same time, but it was different. This you had to pay $200, mandatory $200, and then.
So this is kind of like a car. This is like a car emissions test. You got to pay $200 for this to be able to
pay
still.
$200.
And what it was supposed to be. Like, do you keep the commandments and stuff like that?
No. So this is the basis of it. It's like it's a spiritual checkup. So Tazadakia, he's the doctor. So if you sick, you go see the doctor, right? So
wait, hold on. Is this what he actually said? He's the doctor.
Yes.
This is the way he framed it.
No, I'm telling you, this is how he says it.
I'm sorry.
You need to get your spirit checked out. So when your physical body is messed up, you get checkups, right? So this is a checkup for your spirit, and you gotta pay $200, and he'll tell you what's wrong spiritually with you. But here's the kicker: everybody's spiritual is the same. He just photocopied over 1,000 copies, and it told everybody not to look at another person's spiritual. If you do, that's being wicked and all this other stuff. So nobody looked at each other's spiritual. But then as brothers and sisters started leaving the church, brothers started leaving the church, and they started looking at the spirituals, and they started noticing that their spiritual was saying the exact thing as somebody else's. So he didn't just copied and pasted all these papers and said that this was what was wrong with you, and had you pay $200 mandatory.
Man, oh man, oh man. Grant Scott wants to know if he took insurance.
No.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, this is tough. Somebody wants to know if this kind of thing is still going on.
I can't speak to it. Like I haven't been there since
2019.
Yeah, 19. So I don't know if they're still doing spirituals.
Okay, so now
This is a leave of absence. Oh, this is showing that like you had to ask permission to do stuff, because when I first came out and I was telling my family like how it was hard for me to like see my kids and stuff. They was in another state,
right.
and you know, people inside the church and the cult was like, you know, can't nobody stop you from seeing your kids. Nick lying. So this was just proof right here that I would have to ask permission to see my children, and sometimes it'll get approved and sometimes it'll get denied.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So, I mean, it's like, yeah, you were a one shield general, but everyone's still under Tazaki's thumb.
Oh yeah, you under whoever's over you. Like I was under, yeah, you under whoever's highest in your church, and then you under Tazadaki ultimately. So if he didn't want you to do something, he wasn't going to do it. I remember when my mother passed away. This was the time I was going to think about leaving if it didn't go right, but I went up there to go ask permission to go to my mother's funeral, because you got to ask permission to go to your funerals. So he got like an attitude and was like, you know, y'all act like I gotta let y'all go to this funeral. I'm here to make sure y'all keep the commandments and all this. So I was like to myself, I'm going to my mom's funeral no matter what. So, but yeah, we had to ask permission to do anything.
Soldier 144 says he used Matthew 9:11 to justify the spiritual checkup. So it sounds like Soldier 144 is another former member, probably, if they know that.
Oh yeah, definitely. He was Soldier. I call him Soldier 12, but yeah.
You call him Soldier 12.
Yeah, that's something else.
Matthew 9:11, real quick, says, and when the Pharisees saw this, they said to the disciples, why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners? So it's Matthew 9. No, it's Matthew 9:12. I see. But when he heard it, he said, those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. Go and learn what this means. Okay. So what's this? Oh, so every unit had a name. So your unit name was Beacon of Light.
Right. So each unit had a name. That was another thing that they had us do, give unit names. We only had one unit in our church. We only had like 7 ranking men, but our unit was Beacon of Light.
Okay. And what's the NHA? What's that ministry?
That was Hebrew Academy. So I was part of the Hebrew Academy. I was a teacher, and was I over that? I think I might have been over. I think I was the head of the academy in Pittsburgh.
People, I think, want to know about the 2018 Archangel Awards as well, because that's on the screen. It says you're also going to go to the Archangel Awards. Isn't that where it was like a Grammy for Hebrew Israelites? You could win an Archangel, but it was basically only people that were inside of the ICGJC actually got the award. Yeah,
that's what it was. It was like a deterrent for Israelites to celebrate Thanksgiving. And when I say Israelites, I'm speaking specifically about this part I was in. So it was held every Thanksgiving. So this is how it was spent. In the world, they got Thanksgiving. So we're going to have our Archangel Awards on that day, and we're going to be giving thanks or whatever to the talents in Israel. So
Hmm.
it was like a big concert show. They had tickets you had to pay for. It was like anywhere from 500 down to like 125, and you know, you go there and get a plate of food and stuff.
Okay, so you got some other pictures you sent. Let's take a look at these. This is from Apostle Chakam Akkad about the national. So go ahead.
Treasury. Oh yeah. So this was just.
What's-
Was showing the messages, how they harass people. This one I circled for the passport. That passport I had earlier.
Yeah.
It was like $100. It had no value to it. You know, it was just, again, another money grab. Make you buy these passports. You can't use them to get into another building. You can't use them to go to another church.
Yeah, because you still
have.
hold on. So you still have to fill out the travel form. So what good's the passport?
Yeah. It's good for $100. That's what it's good for. So, and the thing is, it was all profit because a brother was making him at his job. So he didn't have to pay nothing to make him. That you charging us.
I'm going to show the
$100.
passport. I'm going to show the passport picture in a second here. So this is Black Icon Summer Jam payments. So Black Icon is like their summer jam, and everyone has to go.
Tell the doctor he was not original. He took everything that he said was in the world and he just put an Israelite stamp on it. Summer Jam, that's not, that's something in the world, as they say. That's he did nothing original. He would just was already popular in the world and he'll put his Israelite name on it.
Urgently needed this weekend. All balances need to be zero on Pentecost / Pastor ID. June Family Day, as well as July Family Day, has to be spoken to one by one. What's this June and July Family Day you got to pay for?
Those was the summer picnics. So
you got to pay for them?
Yeah, and not only you but your kids. And this was something. Again, it was all about time control. Another cult tactic. They just want to control all your time. You don't have no time to yourself, no time to think, and they just going to. So every summer, it's not no high holy days going on. So to get some extra money, let's throw these picnics.
So you're explaining. Okay, so the high holy days, then they got like a chance to get you for whatever. But since in the summer there's not, they come up with the picnics. Hey, you just went sideways. What happened? Did you adjust your camera?
It's still the same. No, it's still the same. Horizontal.
All right, I'll try to fix. I don't know if I can fix it on my end. You went sideways over there. Let me see what I can do here. Man, this is. Let me see. I'll just fix. There we go. This is. I mean, look. Okay, it's sad, yes, but it's also kind of funny. I mean, I feel bad that you had to live through this, though. To be, you know what I mean? But like, and the thing is, this affects people's real lives, as you know. Okay, so let's go to that passport. We got the passport right here. Just let me find that passport. I got to skip through these real quick. We're gonna go to this passport, and you're gonna. This is what we were just talking about, everybody. We were talking about his passport. There we go. There's the passport. So there's your passport. So you still have this, right?
Not today. This was when I was in here. So.
Oh, you don't have this anymore?
No.
Why didn't you keep it? I want it.
I ain't got nothing from that call.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Hey, listen, to the audience. If you're listening to this show and you came out, I'm hoping you're a Christian like my brother Nicholas, even if you're not, and you understand that I'm in this for the long run, to do research and also to oppose these mind control tactics and all that, and you understand that? Here's what I'm telling you. If you got some of this stuff, I want you to send it to me, please. Hit me up, DM. I got a P.O. box. Because it's not like I'm going to do something special with it, resell it, but it's for research purposes, and also it's helpful to show people in real life the physical object. So if you got some of this stuff, please let me know. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, so you got a passport ID number on here and everything, huh?
Yeah, it was official, but it was just paper. I couldn't. That didn't even scan that barcode. It had no place to scan it. It's just, you know.
Why do you gotta keep telling me this funny stuff?
So that's what it was.
So there's a barcode.
There's
a barcode on the bottom, but the barcode doesn't scan anywhere. There's no point.
Nope.
That's no fun. It's like an ostrich. Yeah. It's like an ostrich's wings. You know, or I don't know, penguin's wings. I don't. Well, I know they have some function. Give me a break, people. But I'm saying they're not for flying. It's a barcode. It has
no function. There's nowhere to scan it. They had no scans set up at no churches. I mean, again, it was just to get $100 out of it because I couldn't use it to do nothing. I couldn't even go to another church.
Man, I'm sorry.
And it's funny. It's funny that on the back of it, it says it's property of the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ and must be returned upon request. So they'll take that. Even though I paid my $100, they'll take it, just like your garment. I didn't pay about $750 for this garment, but they'll take it. It's theirs.
Hey, this barcode should at least get you like a discount on Tazadakia DVDs or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, something. My goodness.
Discount on nothing.
Noel Sanchez says that passport got you a one-way flight to hell. Ooh. He's talking about this right here. Okay, so this is every time I go into some ICGJC stuff, I learn some new crazy stuff. You know, there's always some kind of different thing I hear about, I learn about. We got some more pictures we needed to cover though, real quick here. We didn't get to all of them because these are helpful. What's that say in the middle of your Star of David there, or Shield of David?
That's a perpetual recruit. So this one I got busted to the rank of a perpetual recruit.
What's it called?
Like
what kind of recruit?
Perpetual recruit.
Perpetual recruit. Why is it called perpetual? Because perpetual means like permanent.
Yeah, like it's ongoing. You can never get out of it unless Tazadakia takes you out of it.
So you were stuck in low rank hell?
Yep, for 5 years. I was the longest perpetual recruit, 5 years straight.
You were the longest perpetual recruit?
Yeah.
Man, you must have some real patience. All right, so what's this is you reading? This is on a DVD. Oh, this is online.
Yeah.
When you see this picture, Nicholas, what goes through your mind? Like, what do you think when you see this picture?
Just, I think, you know, a lot of time I wasted. I could have been doing something else.
Do you ever weep, or you know, out of sadness, or are you able to kind of overcome that? Do you ever have those strong feelings of sadness about this time?
Oh, definitely, especially early on, and then just sometimes, you know. I don't want. How can I say it? Like when you accomplish certain things in your life post-code, and you be like, "Damn, if I wasn't there, I could have been here in life, or I could have been." You know, you get a promotion at work, or you hit your goal or something, and you're like, "Man, I could have been that." And sometimes, like just the other day, I just sat back. I was talking to. I think it was yesterday or the other day, the guy Soldier 12, we was talking on a video, and it just hit me like I wasted 20 years of my life, and I was just like down after that. I didn't even do nothing else that day. We was talking about I would think we was talking about how, you know, I told him, I was like, I don't think these guys, you know, they got 30, 40 years in there, out of 20 years. I don't think they ever going to come out. And he was like, you know, that was us. We was in there 20 years and we made it out. And
Yeah.
it just like hit me like, damn, I really spent 20 years of my life in the cult. So
Well, people got positive words for you. I'm putting some of the encouraging words they got for you from the live chat on the screen here. Thank you all in the live chat for your encouraging words for Nicholas.
yeah, definitely.
And you know what? Michelle makes a good point. We all had a pre-saved period. You know what I mean? Like some people were in those clubs for 20 years. Some people were just living their own life, you know, dedicated to their job. Some people were worshiping somebody in some relationship that they shouldn't have been in the first place. You know what I mean? Some people were out there just being good citizens, but so-called, but you know, not caring about the Lord. I mean, I'm just saying everyone had different types of things, and so
Yeah.
So well, we're glad you're where you are today, nonetheless, and thank you. All right, so here's another picture of you and the God sent Comforter.
Yeah.
When you referred to him, did you ever call him like out, like if you had to get his attention or something like? How would you address him?
Oh, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
No, I never tried to get his attention. So
It's like he speaks to you, you don't speak to him, type of thing.
That's it. You can't even look at that man.
You can't look at him. Would you get busted?
No, I didn't see somebody get busted for looking at him. Yeah.
You saw someone get busted for looking at him.
Yeah, and Wildwood, he was a bishop.
Oh my goodness. What?
So, like I said, you never know. It's funny. It's like what you call it, the lion and the lamb. You never know which type of doctor you're gonna get. He can be, you know, nice, and then sometimes he can just be in one of them moods.
My goodness, man. It's Wayne Simpson says it was kind of like a slave master relationship.
Yeah, definitely. If anybody know anything about cults and how their leaders are looked at, I can testify to it.
Nate2D2, the best male mod in the business, says, doesn't sound very comforting. You know, it's weird he'd had this name of comforter, but he goes around intimidating everybody.
Big on intimidation. It's funny, the first time I ever seen him, he looked bigger than life. And I'm like, the first time I seen him, we in 1 West, the little room, and I go in there, and it's like, I want to say like 12 guys, or there's a lot of them on the podium, some standing up, and it's just me in the room. And he looked like, he just had this like aura with him. And like at that time to me, he's just, you know, he seemed bigger than what he was. And so, you know, after you hear the stories and then you watch the DVDs and stuff, and then to finally get to see him and meet him in person, it was like, this, you know, this guy is something special.
So when you first met him, Nicholas, it was actually at 1 West 125th Street?
Yes. The first time he ever spoke to me was...
was that in 99? Or was that a little bit?
No, this was in 2002.
Do you remember? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I had, because during this time, you used to have to go to New York if you wanted to pass the Hebrew Academy and take the final exam. So I went up to New York to take the final exam, and I passed the final exam. But what happened was I was only in the academy for 6 months. So the academy is a year program. So it's like, I go in there and he just like chewed me out. He was like, you know, what took you so long? You know, you've been knew about this church, and look what you done did in 6 months. Imagine you would have came in here when you first heard it. And I was like, I just feel like I wasn't ready. He was like, you wasn't ready? You think Moses told God he wasn't ready? You think? And you just start naming all these
Moses did tell God he wasn't ready. That's why he gave him Aaron. Christine Allen says people were terrified, scared to ask questions because you would get chewed out in front of everyone.
Yep. I'm going to take my headphones off for a second.
Kingdom of the Earth 21, please stop spamming the chat with your nonsense. I don't know who you are. I've never seen you around here. You're totally off topic. Nothing you're saying makes any sense. I don't even think you're a Hebrew Israelite. You just seem like a straight weirdo, to be honest. Please chill out, get on topic, or Nate and D New, the best mods in the business, are going to time you out. They're going to give you a Tazadakia chewing out. Everyone, if you look there, right here at that picture frame, you'll see that that's actually an icon. That's the Virgin, as it were. It's like Madonna. Hey, I don't know. Are you guys hearing feedback now that he took out his headphones? There might be feedback now. I feel like I'm hearing it on my end. Live chat, are you hearing feedback? I need to know. Oh, so there's...
just get a little juice on my phone. It was dying out. So.
Oh, okay. So here's the spiritual report cover page. Prepared by the Holy God Sent Comforter.
Right.
What in the world?
And everybody had the same one.
Oh man, that's something else. That's something else, brother. My goodness, my goodness. I tell you what, let's let your phone charge for a little bit, and then let's hit maybe hit a couple songs or commercials. Maybe we'll play one song real quick here, because the feedback's gonna kill us. So here, guys, I'm gonna play just a couple commercials here, little something, and then we'll come right back. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. We can get the phone a little charge. And guys, when we come back, we're going to take your questions from the live chat. So get your questions ready, okay, audience? Get your questions ready. See you in just a second. Apologetics, serving an underserved area with a special focus and emphasis on the Hebrew Israelites, but also get into some conscious stuff, the Kemetic community, and Islam.
They can be extraordinarily abusive towards anyone who happens to disagree with them. And that reminds me of certain groups that I deal with. And the reason this was relevant is that most people I know, when I say, hey, let's get together, let's collaborate, make some videos dealing with Islam, making some videos about these various topics, the vast majority of people want nothing to do with this. And I saw Vocab, he's dealing with a group that is known for heaping abuse on people, and I thought maybe he'd be maybe he'd go along. So I said, hey Vocab, do you want to join me and do something that might get you killed? And he was like, sure. So that's how that started.
I came for the free pizza.
Anyway, the point here is Vocab's finally starting a Patreon account. I know how difficult it is given the things he has to deal with on a daily basis, and so if you can support him, just know that you are supporting someone who is putting his life on the line to reach people. He's going to be putting his life on the line on a regular basis. So, you don't see me out here doing this. You don't see me running around saying, hey, support this person, donate to this person. You don't see me doing that a lot. But I'm saying it for my friend here. So if you can support his Patreon account, please do so.
Thanks, David. We're going to have fun doing this, man.
Oh, it'll be fun. Deadly, but fun.
Publishing Intimidation Radio. I'll tell you about a book that we just helped print and publish, the Barack Obama versus the Black Hebrew Israelites. It's written by one of my friends, Vocab Malone. Vocab has done a great job of going through and presenting almost like an introductory manual to the Black Hebrew Israelite religion, and also giving you some talking points from scripture. This is a great book for you guys to read. If you guys are not familiar with the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, it's a movement that is sweeping its way through a lot of urban churches, as well as a lot of urban ministries. We are called to, at all costs, preach the word, defend the gospel by counteracting. Get the book if you're into apologetics. Get the book if you're into defending the gospel. And also if you're involved in any type of urban ministry where you see this going around, get informed about it so that you can really counteract it by having a little bit of knowledge before it, because you can't argue against something that you don't know about. Now, so you definitely want to get this. It's about 140 pages. I admonish you guys to get this book. You can order it at the website listed below. You can also look at Vocab Malone on all of the social media networks.
All right, we are back, and we're continuing our interview with Nicholas Johnson, and we're trying to eliminate a little echo we've got here, and we're going to bring him up. I know he's charging his phone right now, but first I'm going to look at a couple of the other documents he sent over while he's charging it. What you see on your screen is one of the things he sent. And it's interesting. I'm going to show a few things about this document that's on your screen here. One is, notice what it says in the top. This is the Certificate of Incorporation for the Israelite Church of Universal Practical Knowledge, Inc. Now, why is that relevant? Because understand, when I say Nicholas Johnson was in the ICGJC, it wasn't always known as the ICGJC. It was once known as the ICUPK. And the ICUPK predates the current ISUPK. They are actually not related other than the fact that Johanna did go to the old school. But look at this. You see what it says? Israeli Church. A lot of one-Westers these days, they doubt us when we tell them as apologists and researchers that it was the Israelite Church of Universal Practical Knowledge, Inc. And a lot of people speculate the reason why it had switched its name, previous name of the Israeli School, was because they wanted to get the 501c3 to be acknowledged as a nonprofit, because it can help with basically taxes, and so they took advantage of that. And so you see that the date of incorporation here for the ICUPK in New York is February 3rd, 1997. And notice that the location of the church is 1941 Madison Avenue. That the said certificate of incorporation after the filing of the certificate in New York City County Clerk's Office shall be changed and amended to new name, the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ, Inc. So the official date, apparently, that the ICUPK was changed to the ICGJC was 1997. I'm going to have to ask you about that, Nicholas, when we come back, because I thought the name change was later. That's actually surprising. Now, everyone look at this and witness thereof. Notice the top name. Leonold Sherrod. High Priest Leonold Sherrod / Pastor. Pastor Aria. Because if you guys know anything from watching this channel that I've taught you, it's that this name, Leonold Sherrod, is Aria's real name. And then under that, you have Joseph Noble. I actually don't know who that is. I'll ask him when we come back who Joseph Noble was. And then we've also got Lincoln Warrington. That's the treasurer that we mentioned earlier, who got in trouble with Tazadakia. So welcome back to the program, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Nicholas Johnson, who is breaking it down for us today. Thank you for being with us. Oh, sorry if the sound effects are a little too loud there, brother. So help me understand.
No.
This name change took place in 97, but they didn't start calling themselves the ICGJC yet, did they?
No. They didn't start. They started trying. They calling themselves that, I want to say in, what was it, 04?
So wait, you're saying this document proves that the name change happened earlier?
Yeah, it was before then. It was it was before the whole 99 thing. That's what I was telling you. By 99, they was past that Y2K thing.
So in
so
19,
they was preparing for this split way before that time, but in 97.
So wait, I thought, how long did they have the One West building? Because you went to One West in 99, but here they're at Madison in 97. Were they holding both buildings at the same time?
No, it was a fire in 1941, and so we went back to One West. So that was that time when they went back. And
did they still own?
To 1941.
Did they still own the One West building, or were they still renting it?
It was just a classroom.
Oh,
it was like, so it might have been the whole floor, but I know we used
second floor. Use the top.
Yeah,
right?
We used a classroom on this side, and then this side was another. They started putting us in there as the church started getting bigger, in that second room too.
So they were at 1941 for their main stuff, but they were using One West as a classroom
for other things. And then once the fire happened, that's when they went back to One West until they got 1941 back. They got the entire building.
Who's Joseph Noble?
That's Shar.
So that's Shar. Okay. Oh, that's some fascinating stuff. And then you had some stuff from Jermaine Grant's plea as well.
Yeah, this what I was trying to show, because
Going to read this. Was a high probability that you were required to pay taxes on the benefits that you received from the church, but deliberately take certain actions to avoid learning whether you had to pay such taxes? Defendant Grant, yes. Mrs. Mahoney, for example, did you and Lincoln Warrington fail to provide your tax preparer with documents reflecting the benefits you received from the church? Defendant Grant, yes. Mrs. Mahoney, and as a result, did the tax returns that the tax preparer prepared and that you caused to be filed omit the income and the tax due and owing to the United States on that income? Defendant Grant, yes. Basically, he's pleading guilty right here.
Yeah. And I was getting that because they were saying that he didn't admit to these things, but
well, he clearly did.
Like it's right there. So that was for anybody that was in the cult, because we know they go on YouTube and even though they're not supposed to. So hopefully.
Oh, I get this. So the attorney for the United States says, example, on or about April 15th, 2016, did you cause an individual tax return, Form 1040, to be filed in your name for calendar year 2015 that reported only $15,600 in income, all purportedly from BIE, that's Black Icon Entertainment, and that claimed a tax refund of $10,587. So he was getting tax refunds while he was making millions of dollars.
Big refunds. This guy, it's crazy. He never worked in his life. The whole Black Icon thing was never sold a record, never did anything.
And did this tax return omit all the other income that you received from the ICGJC during calendar year 2015? Defendant Grant, yes. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, he's guilty as charged. I mean, it's right there, everybody. You can see it.
And then lie and tell people, have come out right out the courtroom and tell people he got off.
And then here's the other part of this, counsel, factual basis. Mrs. Mahoney, yes, Your Honor, thank you. Mr. Grant, from at least in or about January 2007 through at least in or about April 2016, were you the leader of the Israelite Church of God and Jesus Christ, or the ICGJC, which has a location in New Jersey and elsewhere? Yes, I am, and yes, I was. Mrs. Mahoney. During the same period of time, was Lincoln Warrington a high-ranking member of the ICGJC who functioned as the organization's main treasurer with primary signatory authority for the ICGJC's bank account? Defendant Grant, yes. Mrs. Mahoney, during the same period of time, were you and Lincoln Warrington each 50% owners of an entertainment company called Black Icon Entertainment, or BIE, with location in Hackensack, New Jersey? Grant, yes. Mrs. Mahoney, from in or about January 2007 to in or about April 2016, did you and Lincoln Warrington agree that you would receive certain benefits from the church, including the payment of your personal expenses for items such as rental properties, vacations, clothing, and private school tuition? Grant, yes. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that was the part right there that I was highlighting.
Yeah, my bad. I read the second one first. I read it out of order. That's my fault there. Okay, so I think we've went through all of the pictures. Are you ready for a couple questions?
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm going to have to fix a few things here on the screen to make sure we got this, everybody. Let's get your questions for Nicholas and applaud him for his courage to be willing to come on to do this. Not easy. What has been the response from some of your other interviews that you've done, that you've spoken out basically against the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ?
They all been positive, and I had a lot of people reach out to me because of those, just getting out of other situations, not even the Hebrew Israelite cult, but even other different type of cults. So I was glad about that, because it's not just about the Hebrew Israelites. My whole thing was about anybody that's indoctrinated in a cult, period, because I see, I'm a witness to how it can destroy your life. So all the feedback I got has been real positive, and it has got me into conversations with people that I probably would never meet in life.
You've done at least 2 interviews I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
More or less?
Yeah, I've done more interviews than that. More like what you call it? Not like camera interviews, but just do audios.
Well, yeah, I heard the one you did with what was it? Culminate, or what was it?
Cultimadium.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, for example, that's one. Have you kind of received sort of any problems or threats or displeasure from people still in the group?
No, I think they try to stay away from me, avoid me.
They try to stay away from you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you seem like a nice guy. I don't know why they'd want to do that. Okay, Wayne Simpson. Here's our Q&A period. And with NAYAQALAS, how do I say the old name?
Yeah, that was it.
NAYAQALAS, which is basically a one West Lashawan Quadasha rendering of Nicholas. Wayne asked, what convinced you that this was true in the first place? I know you briefly answered that. Maybe follow up on that a little bit, because I don't think Wayne was here at that time.
Okay. What convinced me was they can go in the Bible and show me things that I never heard, and I can see it for myself. So, for instance, the main 2 things that got me was Deuteronomy 28:68 about the Israelites coming into slavery by ships, and then they go, well, who else has been in slavery by ships? And at that time, I don't know. So I know black people have. So, and then when they go, I think it was Jeremiah 14:2, the Jews are black, and they now hearing these things, I'm like, that has nothing to do with color. So, but at that time, you hear somebody saying black and black and black, and you're like, okay. So it's just, that was the main 2 things, just hearing something I've never heard before, and it's coming out the Bible, and it's connecting with me.
Okay. Appreciate that answer. Makes sense. Got a lot of encouragement again. Anu P says, break it down, Nick. I think that was from a previous thing, which I understand. And Jay Holy Roller says, so glad he got out when he did. Thank you, Jesus. And Wayne also wants to know, do you have a YouTube or a ministry?
No, I don't.
All right. The likes of me says, what is the main claim they use to prove heritage? Is it Deuteronomy 28:68?
To claim heritage? Yeah, that was the main prophecy used, which was Deuteronomy 28:68. Mainly the whole Deuteronomy 28 chapter. They try to put the curses on so-called blacks and Latinos and Indians to identify who you are today through curses.
Yep, that's usually what I, of course, do here. And then Akila Copeland wants to know, when Brother Nicholas left the cult, did others also defect, or was he the only one who left at that time?
At that time, no. Another brother, he left. He left. He called me up, and he was like, just knowing you, this is what he told me, just knowing you, I knew you was telling the truth, because I know how you were about this truth, and for you to do what you just did, I know something's going on. So he left.
Who was it again?
His brother, his name was Monetizat in there.
Okay. King Dog says, do you still believe that or not anymore? I think they're asking about the Deuteronomy 28 passage.
No.
That's really
I don't
going
think
to...
that was talking about blacks going into slavery. No.
Eddie Sally says, does he know today that we are in the new covenant?
I believe we're in the new covenant right now.
Okay. In Context with Jim Green's in the house. Go ahead and subscribe to him, please, everybody. And then someone wants to ask St. Ephraim, why do you reject Christ's return to earth?
What about what?
Why do you reject Christ's return to earth?
I don't reject it.
Yeah, I don't know why they think that you do, but they're in the... So what do you believe about Christ's return to earth these days?
Oh, I don't think he's returned. I believe he already returned.
Oh, that's what they're saying. So they're saying,
okay.
why don't you believe the Lord is coming back?
Oh, because I believe the scriptures. I believe when Matthew's 24 in the Olive Discourse, when Christ told his disciples that all this is going to take place in their generation, that's what I believe. So I believe... you go ahead.
Well, I was saying this sounds like you're holding to something sometimes called full preterism.
Yes, I would say that.
All right. Well, I think that's why Ephraim asked the question. Do you know who St. Ephraim is?
No, I don't.
Okay. We'll have to talk about that at another time. Don't want to get us too off track here today. King Dog says, did you leave because of doctrine?
No, I left because of I left because I felt like I was in the cult. I believed that we was following and worshiping a man, and that's what caused me to leave.
What are some of the main doctrines that ICGJC held or taught to that you would disagree with today? What's kind of the big ones you think are the biggest problem?
The ones probably that Christ only died for Israelites. I don't believe that. I don't believe that you can be under two covenants, which they believe they was under the old and the new. They believed that, or they was under the order Melchizedek and the order Aaron at the same time. I don't think that's possible. The priesthood changed, the law changed, so I don't think they can be under both at the same time. I don't think that we're under the law. So those are some of the main things. I don't believe the whole 12 tribes chart. I think that was false and made up. So that's some of the things I disagree with them. The whole against slavery.
Those are
most
good.
Of the color scriptures.
Good answers. Appreciate that. Grant Scott wants to know any advice in talking to people about getting out.
Yeah, I think that you got to trust. Everybody has it. I guess they call it that gut feeling. I think you got to trust it. When you feel as though something ain't right, something's wrong, I think you got to follow that. Again, God, He let us know, and He gave us all the proper tools within our members to know, when something is not right, and we call it that gut feeling. That's our body computing something, and it's let you know this ain't how it's supposed to be. So I would just tell you to trust that. It's hard because being in a cult, you're so indoctrinated, and it's hard to think for yourself sometimes. But I would just tell the person, whoever it is, when you get that feeling, to follow that because you know best.
Oh, Jay Fry, I see your super chatting question. I'm going to get to that first. I need to get Andres. This is from earlier. He says, can you please share how this group became so skilled at memorizing the Bible? What does the process look like, and how much time did they dedicate it to it? So he wants to know how people got so much of the Bible memorized.
Hebrew Academy is a year program, and then you got classes 7 days a week. So every day is class 7 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. And so, you just got somebody telling you the same thing. It's like it ain't nothing new. And then you got, you watching DVDs, so it's constantly mind control, time control, information control. So that's definitely how it's done. You got this. It's all day.
All right. Well, thank you for your question, Super Chat. We got another Super Chat from Jay Fry, which I appreciate. Our two Super Chatters of the day, Andres and Jay Fry, both of y'all. And then we've also got, I forgot to give a shout out earlier to J3 in the building and Warrior Woman. Shout out to y'all if you guys are still hanging out with us here. And here's a good question from Jay Fry. Where'd it go? Hold on, Jay. I had it in there. Oh, yeah. Now that you're out, what's the best way to refute this cult in a debate?
Sticking to the scriptures. I done found out that's again, it's so, now that since I've been out, it's so easy to refute the things that they teach. You just got to read your Bible, do your research, go into the history, go into the context, go into the different languages. They only stick to the King James Version of the Bible, and I don't think that's correct either. It's like the King James Version has a lot of bad translations in it. So, but it's easy to refute the things that they're saying now. To me, anyway.
King Dog says you left because of sin, but now you're attacking the doctrine. Would you say that's accurate?
No, I won't say that's attacking. I won't say I attacked the doctrine. No.
Okay. Wayne says, how are you convinced that you would have slaves in the Millennium Kingdom?
That I would?
Yeah, he wants to know when you were in ICGJC, what convinced you that you would have slaves in the future?
Oh, because I'm trying to think which scriptures they would use. I think it was Isaiah 14.
Yes.
Like 1 through 2.
Correct.
So that's
I
one
think
of the scriptures.
and there's another one in Revelation they like. And then, of course...
Yeah, and that's, again, that goes into the translation, because if you read that in other translations, it's not saying what they believe it's saying. So
Lou Yang says, what do you think about white people now?
I love white people.
Oh man, we don't want this to turn into a Jesse Lee Peterson interview. A Sharp says Comfy is dead. What else do they have?
They still have him.
Explain what you mean by that.
They're waiting on his return. So
tell us some more about that.
They believe that he's one of the two witnesses, and they believe that he's going to return back to the earth, and he's going to set everything back up for Christ. So that's just stringing them along. And you see how they reverence him. It's funny, they call him now the master teacher, and that's Yahweh's been Yahweh's name, another cult leader.
That's
so
also
another.
That was what they call. I just debated a disciple of Dr. Malachi Z. York, and he calls him the master teacher.
And now they call him Tazadakian the master teacher. So they took another cult leader's name. So again, they just gotta keep revamping and doing what they can to hold people as long as they can, because he's not coming back.
Create says, so what do you believe now?
I believe that Jesus Christ died, was buried, resurrected, and then ascended up to God.
Are you involved these days with a ministry or a local church or anything like that?
I go to a local church. So I believe in the gospel. So that's what the gospel is. It's about his death, resurrection, and ascension, to the Father, to usher in his kingdom. So that's what I believe. And it's for all people.
D. New asks, what's the biggest change that you've noticed within yourself since leaving?
I think I noticed that I'm more charitable.
What do you mean by that? Can you tell us about the difference?
I'm willing to help, and I'm willing to go out of my way to help. I'm willing to help, somebody in need. Before, like, say, when I was in the cult, if somebody was outside the store panhandling, asking for money or something, I'd just walk right by them or, have something nasty to say. Now,
but that's also because you had to get all that money to Tazadakia, but go ahead.
no, but even in my head, I was like, no, you going to go buy some crack or something. So, but now I give all the time. If I'm going out, I'm giving. If I'm at the line and somebody's checking out, can I pay for that? So I think that's what I see it within myself, that I'm more charitable now.
That's good. St. Ephraim asks you what your understanding of Roman Catholic Church doctrine is. Any specifics there, St. Ephraim, that you're asking about? Any specifics?
They believe in they believe in the Pope. They believe you can pay for sins, buy your sins, or something like that. I'm not too versed on
you're done with all that. You're done with paying for sin and paying for sins.
Yeah, I had to do that enough.
Yeah.
But I'm not too familiar with the Roman Catholic belief.
Did they ever talk about Rome when you were in the ICGJC?
Not really, no. I know they talked about, sometimes they'll talk about 70 AD, but not in this full context of what it really was. They'll just use it as a dispersion of the Jews going into Africa. Outside of that, not really. And then they talk about, of course, when Israel was under Rome during the time of Christ. But again, that's about it for Rome.
Well, man, people got a lot of questions for you. Eddie Sally says, did you have monthly dues when you were in the ICGJC?
Weekly. Every week. $31 a week it's called a priest fund. So you pay $31 a week, and then you paid your tithes, which was on any income. So say you work, you get paid weekly, you pay on that every week. And then we had the high holy days.
Woo!
So we had weekly dues.
Woo! Don Tracy says, are you born again?
Yes.
How would you define born again?
I mean, I was dead, spiritually dead, and I was revived through Christ.
Amen, amen, amen. Jim Green wants to know, why do you think people stayed after Jermaine Grant died?
Because I think they had nothing else. Like, you've been told all this time about this world, and it's like the boogeyman. And then you got people saying that he's coming back. So it's like, what I got to lose? I'm going to stick around and see if he come back. And I see how they hold his name still to a high regard. Like, you can't even mention the Bible without mentioning his name. So he's still heavy in there.
Yeah, you can definitely see that. Create says, did you go from black Jesus to white Jesus?
Black Jesus? No. I still believe Christ is black, so I don't know what he mean by that.
Shout out to Salvation for All for this third super chat. Thank you very much. Turn up the bass. I believe this must be a Hebrew Israelite. Says, you return back to your own vomit. Saying that when you became a Christian, that's what they're saying. What do you think of that statement?
I mean, they can't prove it, so I bet you they don't even know what that scripture is talking about. But
Deuteronomy 8 says, if you leave these cults, they think you've been paid and that now you're an agent. Do they ever call you an agent?
No, I never been called an agent. Like I said, they pretty much. I'm gonna see how it goes now that I did this interview, but they pretty much leave me alone.
You think this might change it, maybe?
I hope they do. I hope it does.
Wait a minute. So wait, you were in the ICGJC when I started doing stuff with Hebrew Israelite, like apologetics. Yeah. So when you were in the ICGJC, did you ever like hear of any of the apologetic ministry going on the outside?
Not when I was in there, because when you're in there, you're not allowed to watch YouTube. So unless you know like somebody that's being rebellious, you would sneak on and watch videos like yourself and other what they call antichrist. But while I was in there, no, I didn't see none of this stuff.
Shout out to White Label Consulting. That's my man. Does great graphic design and video work. Shout out to you, Brother Michael. So that means that like an outside Christian who was criticizing them, they probably wouldn't even mention them because they wouldn't even want you to know the name or something.
Yeah. Yeah, like they never mentioned your name while I was in there.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say they didn't mention nobody. They didn't want you to go look at.
Right, I got you. Ephraim says that they believe Tazadokia would sit in the Vatican at a future time.
No, I never heard of that.
Man, oh man, oh man. And then Liu Yang wants to know, do you still think that Esau's white?
No, I don't.
All right. People can't understand how you stayed there for 20 years.
I know, sometimes I think the same thing, but
Yeah.
the 20 years go by quick. I'm telling you, I can say that much. You blink and you be like, damn, I've been in here 20 years. So it's a lot of gap.
Nate 2D2 says that instead of God sent comforter now, because he died from COVID, they should call him the God taken comforter.
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't got to comment on that. That's all right. That's all right, brother. We can try that. A Sharp says, I remember a sister was taken to counsel for bringing a book we didn't use in the church.
Yeah, Tazadokia stopped all of that. I remember when I first came in, brothers used to have a lot of books. Like when we went to camp, crates full of books. Mm-hmm. And then Tazadokia, once he, I should have sent you that one book, but what happened was he started digging in these books and started coming up with all these mysteries of the Bible, and so he just stopped people from reading. Now the only thing they read is the King James Version and the Apocrypha. But it was one book I found funny. It was called Three Unclean Spirits Like Frogs, and it was like democracy, socialism, capitalism, and fascism, something like that. But it was written in 1938, and Tazadokia came in here with a class and taught the same book, and they thought it was like out of this world, mind blowing. And this guy just plagiarized a whole sermon from 1938. He was good for that. A lot of his understanding he was getting from Enoch and stuff, and telling people don't read Enoch and all this other stuff. But
LaShawn wants to know how much the Hebrew Academy cost.
The Hebrew Academy was free to join, but once you got in it, you had $25 a week.
On top of your 31?
No, 31 was for the ranks. 25 was for Hebrew Academy.
What about that apostles' fee or something? The priest fund or something?
Yeah, the priest fund. So the Hebrew Academy priest fund was 25, and then the ranking men was 31.
But you had to pay both every week?
No, just one.
Oh,
Dependent. Okay. So if you're in the Hebrew Academy,
right,
you'll pay the 25. If you're out of the academy, you'll pay the 30.
Okay. Phil B&R says, I was born into the church and left at 18. I grew up with his nephew, Jake.
Okay, yeah. I'm not their uncle no more, so.
You're not their uncle no more?
No, to them.
Oh. So they're still in.
Yeah.
Ephraim
once you leave there, your family.
Okay.
You no longer their family. So.
Ephraim wants to know about this teaching of Apollyon being the angel that rules hell.
Yeah, they teach that. They teach that once you die and you go to hell, the first thing you get when you get to hell is punched in the mouth by Apollyon. That's how you greet it. So.
Yeah, you know, when I first heard that, I thought it was like a turn of phrase, like a joke. But then they're like, no, that's really what they taught.
Yeah, they teach you that Apollyon is this big black angel with muscles, and he greets you at hell's door.
He's
with
all
a punch in your mouth.
Welcome to hell.
And then he punch you in your mouth.
Do you think there are people in the movement who know they're in a cult, or leaders who know they're lying to people?
Definitely, I think all the leaders know they're lying. And I think it's people in there that know they're in the cult. And a lot of them leave at some certain points, but they got to get to that point.
Soldier 144 says, yeah, Apollyon gives you an uppercut in hell. And PHL BNR says it's Shalama from Philly.
Shalama, okay. It's good to hear from him.
Salvation for All says, would you agree that organization is a mind-controlling cult leading people to eternal damnation?
I believe it's a mind-controlling cult. I can't speak to where it's leading them to after they leave this earth.
Right. Man, people have a lot of questions for you. I think there's still more, but guys, we can't, huh?
No, I was saying I'm trying to hold my phone up.
That's all right. Yeah, we can't. Guys, I'm glad you guys have got a lot of questions, but first of all, we only got 3 super chats, first of all. Second of all, we can't do this forever. So we might have to have you come back on or something. I don't know. But listen, Nicholas, I do hope that you get some more interviews and you're able to tell your story and share these images and other things that you have from your time in there. And I pray that you are continue to be encouraged by the fact that you're encouraging other people.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you're not in, and I pray that you do continue to grow and mature in your faith in Christ. What do you want to say to the people still in that you might know that you care about?
I just, pray that they get out, that they, I really don't want to say that to them online, so.
Oh, okay.
I'll leave it at that.
Sorry I went sideways like that. All right, appreciate that. Appreciate that very much.